Hey, what's up? This is Dilio, and you're watching my review of the Phenyx Pro PTU-2U wireless microphone system. This is a true diversity microphone system. I've worked with a lot of microphones in my professional career, and I'm very excited to take this out on the road. I've took it out to a few gigs already, and I just liked how stable it was. And what I like about this set is that they actually call this a true diversity microphone system. And I want to talk about that. What does that mean? True diversity microphone system. And by the way, you're hearing audio from this microphone right now, straight from the point. You hear how solid it sounds. True diversity. You know, every receiver on this unit, so this has two receivers on here, and each receiver itself has two antennas. And with those dual antennas, the circuitry in there compares the signals and picks the best one that's most stable and most cleanest, and switches to that. Because in the real world situation, we are dealing with analog signals, and we might have a TV station. There's all kinds of frequency bands going on, from your phone to Bluetooths and all this stuff. All this stuff is emitting frequencies. So it's even though they are allocated to certain bandwidths, it's still maybe a cause for interference. Or say if you're in a room with a full audience, everybody has their cell phones on, plus laptops and other devices that could interfere with the signal. So to have a true diversity system that takes more than one signal from your transmitter and uses them in parallel helps do a couple things. One, it reduces your chance of dropouts. Two, it will reduce interference and stuff like that. So I really like that about this microphone. I just like how it sounds. It's a good feel. And it's important to remember remember that when you have a microphone like this, you want to make sure you hold it here. Don't do this. Don't do this. I was working with a client, and they were doing one of these, and unfortunately, you may be hearing interference. But a lot of times, microphones will short circuit or not give you a clear signal when you do stuff like this. Really hold it tightly from the bottom. This is the proper place to hold the microphone, which is right here. And so that's just a little side rant about this device. So this device is pretty easy to operate. One of the things I like about it is that it auto scans your frequencies. Now, there are other devices that you can hook up software to and scan and all that stuff, but sometimes you're really on the go and you want to make sure that you can auto scan quickly and effectively. And this device does that. You can go into the menus here with the buttons right there. It's very simple, very easy. There's actually two volume outputs on this device. I know it's kind of in the distance right there, but I wanted to put it somewhere where I could keep it safe for this demonstration video talking about this product and my review of it. And auto scan is just a clutch, especially when you need to find a good signal, or say you first power on this device and you're in a new environment and the signal isn't quite good. Well, the technology inside the receiver itself will scan it. And then, which brings me to our next point, is the infrared sync. The infrared sync is very quick, very easy, not a lot of menu diving. And I'm going to be honest with you, there's not a lot to dive into or to get lost in on the receiver of this microphone system. It's very straightforward. You got your squelch settings that you can adjust. You can adjust the frequency that you want to use. You can lock it so it can stay put. You're not jumping around trying different frequencies or having someone come up to your gig and say, oh, I want to push that button and change the frequency. You don't really have to worry about that. So I think that's pretty cool that you can scan your frequencies very easily, transmit that frequency to your microphone and things of that nature. So let's talk about the I/O of this system. So in this kit right here, you have two XLR outputs on there, and you have one universal 1/4 inch output. So this is good for professional applications where you have a mixer that can take all those channels, or say you might be in a karaoke situation, or you might not be in a situation where you have a lot of mixer channels. You might have like a very small mixer and there's a lot of stuff being hooked up to it at the same time, or just a speaker by itself. And so there's not a lot of inputs that you can plug into. So you do have the option of hooking up into both XLR outputs on the back or the unified 1/4 inch output on there. Get you the same signal. Of course, you would have to adjust your volume separately on the front of the face instead of on the mixer. But in the real world, everything's not going to be so cut and dry where you can just apply it and everything is just the way it should be. Part of doing audio visual and live sound is actually taking the flawed situations and making them work. especially in some of the professional applications I've dealt with. Things aren't quite set up so cookie cutter and clear. You actually have to really adapt. So having those options, or maybe there might be a situation where all your XLRs are out. You're out of XLRs and you're in the field. You can't go home to get more XLRs. You're at a gig. You got to plug this thing in. Hey, you got an extra quarter inch in your bag? Yeah, bruh. Plug that in. Now you got your wireless microphone systems. But the weight of this microphone is pretty good. Let me see if I can get the other one out and kind of talk about it while I hold this one. Also, this kit does come with a 1/4 inch port and actually has an adapter on it so that you can go into an 1/8 inch port. So this is good for, like, say, if you want to record into a camera or something that takes 1/8 inch audio inputs. So this is the other microphone that comes into the kit. And let's talk about the build of it. So one of the things you can recognize is that this does take 2 AA batteries. It does take a little bit of muscle to remove that, but then you got your battery inputs right there. I'm trying to change it so that the light can kind of show you. That's where your microphone goes into. You see kind of like a infrared input panel on this front side right here. That's what displays your information, the channel, your volume level. There are some menu options in here as well to adjust your settings. And you also have a frequency power switch on the back here. So there's more options right there. I'm trying to make it so I can focus right there. There are more options right there that enable you to basically cater the experience that you want. What's also interesting about this is that these capsules that are on the top, I'm going to try and undo one for you real quick. So here is how it looks like with the cap removed. I'm trying to get my face out of it. See that right there? And then that's the connection right there. I'm trying to get the camera to focus on that. There you go, right there. So, you can really switch out these capsules for, say, if a capsule goes bad, heaven forbid, or anything like that, you have an ability to replace the capsule without having to throw out your whole transmitter. Which brings me to another thing, because Phenyx has a group of transmitters that enable you to connect with this device. You got the belt packs, you got headsets, lapel microphones. Lapel microphones are really good so long as the person stays behind the speakers, and then you have to go into a lot of EQing and cutting to make that work. But then also this has another part of the kit which I like, which are these rings. And what these rings do is they slide on here and kind of help you rest that on your hand right there. It also keeps the user's hand off of the capsule itself so it can do its job properly. A lot of people think that doing this makes it louder, but you hear it makes it louder, but there's a little bit of distortion on there. You don't get really a clean sound, so people can't understand what you're singing or saying. So when you put the microphone right there, you give yourself enough space for the capsule to do what it wants to do, and you can still transmit to it. So I think it's a fun thing. I can't wait to use this on my events and shows that I want to throw and more gigs. It's a solid, very solid piece. The receiver itself is rackable. It comes with rack ears. You can put it in the rack, which I do recommend so you can protect your equipment. It has 4 antennas on the back of it with 2 channels for receiver A and 2 channels for receiver E. So there's like 4 receivers on this thing, enable you to have true diversity on 2 microphone channels, 2 wireless channels instead of 1. And for the price point that is at, this is probably one of the most affordable microphones with true diversity that I see. A lot of them are double the price. And I mean, you hear it right here, and that's what I wanted you to hear is me talk through it, because oftentimes it's probably the 2 most important things to me when it comes to wireless is how does it sound and how stable is the signal. And for what I've heard with this system right here, using it the way that I am, I'm very pleased with the sound, and I think it's really awesome. So I wanted to share this device with you and tell you about this. If you like this device right here, this is collaboration with Phenyx Pro. And if you want to get one, I have links in the description below. If you want to see some more information about it, I did do a blog post on DealioT2K.com that will really go over the points of what I talked about in this video. And there's some links there too as well. If you want to get it through one of my links, that would be really appreciated, because I mean, I like it, and this is just it. I was surprised because normally a lot of microphones that I find that are more consumer-based priced, they work, but they don't sound great. They work, but they don't have gain. They work, but they kind of distort when you really get into them. You start to shout and scream and say, yeah, hallelujah, all that stuff. Even when I'm talking loud, and I might be distorting on there because I haven't said gains because I wasn't expecting to talk that loud. But as you can see, you can hear this clearly. So if you like these type of reviews, I love to hear what you think about this. Do you think this is a cool kit? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to get your own unit, use my links in the description or go to the website at deleotk.com to find out more about this. And I'll see you in the next video. All right. Peace out.